Demand is defined as an insistent and peremptory request made by the person for anything that they want for. Outdoor recreation is defined as a recreation that engages in out of doors, most commonly in natural settings. The activities that include in outdoor recreation activities, as we can see, such as bicycling, kayaking, orienteering, and abseiling. The demand for outdoor recreation will be determined into five sections, which is principle of demand, method and problem of demand projection, demand for specific sites and facilities, present participation in outdoor recreation, and lastly is measurement of participation rates.
Method of demand projection have 5, which is use trend, causal forces, associative factor, customer expenditures, and the last one is professional judgment. So the first one is use of trend. Use of trend, where we use the most classic business method as well as those related to the movements of the past variable. This method can give the benefit to the company that has been long established. This is because the company that has been long established have historical sales data for at least a few years. Hard number represent normal conditions are described to trends over time. Thus, the factor responsible for the trend for the past play an important role for the future of the company. This method have their own advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is that the analysis is more accurate and can be copied or refined according to the need because it is based on actual data and can be verified in several different ways. For the disadvantage, it's not able to deal with the problem may be catalyst for the trend. For example is hurricane, flood, important events, or forest fire. The second method is causal forces. Causal forces are a person's way of determining a particular way because they consider themselves that way. Related to recreation, one implies that space, distance, and therefore time separate recreational members from websites and activities they want to connect with. When efforts are made to reduce space imbalance in recreational opportunity is a process in which spatial interactions are stimulated. Moreover, the ease and difficulty of movement and communication are fundamental to the explanation of spatial interaction. Therefore, the effect of travel and its key role is the satisfaction gained from the total recreational experience are important influence on recreation behavior. The third method is associative factor. There are several factors that influence the actual demand to participate. Among them are socio-economics and circumstance. For the example, seems to operate at various stages of decision-making process. It also related to the choice of place of recreation, activities and travel, and related to the opportunity to relax. Accessibility to recreational opportunities is a key influence to participation. Accessibility also plays an important role in helping to explain the contributions of a travel place to the overall recreational experience. The fourth method is customer expenditure. Customer expenditure, a method of customer survey on demand involving direct interview with a potential user. Users are simply contacted by interviewer and asked how much they are willing to buy a particular product or services at some price level of an alternative product. Surveys are conducted in general in the form of questionnaire that directly seek personal, demographic, choice, and economic information from end customer. Because this research is by random sampling, it needs to be done in the region, locations, and demographic of the final customer survey. The last method is professional judgment. Professional judgment is that the method seek the opinion of executives with different disciplines, such as marketing, finance, productions, and estimate for the future claim of the company. Thus, this is a process of combining, averaging, or evaluating in some other way the opinion and view of the top executive. Problem of demand projection have two, which is terminology, and the second one is sampling bias. The first problem is terminology. The first problem is that it will not fit the standard economic analysis. This occurs when financial inefficiency and lack of data credibility. In addition, incomplete information until the data is broken in the forecast will cause many predictions to have credibility issue. This failure make the future of the company difficult to achieve profitability. It will not be effective if reliable data are not available. But here are some solutions that can help the company to improve the quality problem and get the valuable data they need to drive business decisions. First is that financial team should take time to implement structured processes, inspections, and balanced analytical procedures that allow them to compile accurate forecasts with reliable data. Last is taking the time to develop your financial staff into a trusted business advisor also boosts credibility and improve your company decision-making ability. The next problem is sampling bias. Sampling bias is a sample of stochastic variable collected to determine that the distribution was chosen incorrectly and did not represent the actual distribution for non-random reason. It is not based on the sample of the general population sample, and it used to conduct interview and questionnaire.
Basically, each person has different needs and want towards something, which is refer the person have different perception and preferences towards a subject. It also happen in the outdoor recreation. As we know, Malaysia have variety resources of facilities to do the recreation activities, but some places are lack of accessibility, such as lack of transportation, time and distance. So it will be the responsibility for the authority or the recreation activity providers to provide the specific recreation sites and facilities to fulfill the needs and wants of the population. The demand for specific recreation sites and facilities can be identified through some method, as we have been explained earlier, such as interview and distributing the questionnaire to the particular community or resident. So we need to insert the question such as what type of recreation activities you need and what type of recreation sites and facilities you need. So this question might answer the needs and wants of the community or resident. However, the answers from the respondent also may arise some problem, since every people has different preferences toward a specific recreation sites and facilities. So the authority need to choose the majority and consider the other answers from the respondent. In addition, they also have some barriers that cannot be avoided, such as land are becoming scarce. So the authority need also to consider the issues or the factors that cannot be avoided while developing a specific sites and recreation facilities. So it is important during the recreation planning process and resource management process to identify the specific demand of people towards specific recreation sites or facilities. It is to supply the appropriate specific recreation sites and facilities to increase the level of participation in outdoor recreation, and also to provide the opportunities for people to participate in outdoor recreation activities. Besides, the demand for specific recreation sites and facilities also different between the local and the international. It is because of some factors such as the difference in the recreation activity trends and planning decision as a communication. Based on our finding, we found that the most popular activities in the United States from 2009 to 2018 is running, jogging and trail running. Nowadays, the participation in outdoor recreation has been increased in Malaysia since over years ago. It is because people are more aware and realize the importance of healthy lifestyle. So, there are many popular outdoor activities in Malaysia. So, based on our finding, we found that the current trend in Malaysia in outdoor recreation activities is cycling and hiking. So, people participate in cycling with their friends and family to enjoy the view during the cycling. And some people love to cycle at the night. It is because to avoid the direct sunlight, to avoid the traffic jam and also to enjoy the more beautiful view at the night. Other than that, people also love to go for hiking. Variety of age have joined to go for hiking. It is because they also want to enjoy the view at the top of the mountain or hill. Usually, the mountain and hill in Malaysia is very crowded at the weekend. It is because they believe that going for hiking is much better than do not do anything at the home.
Measurement of participation rates is last point in demand for outdoor recreation. There are two methods is used to measure the participation rates in outdoor recreation, which is developed sites and dispersed use sites. Okay, the first method is developed sites. Developed sites is include campgrounds, picnic areas and other sites developed for medium and high density. Basically, it means the sites were developed to fulfill the demand of consumer to use the place. Such an example, one site was developed and how much quantity of the place can accommodate at one time. Such an example, in Escape Park, there was a party or function room which can accommodate approximately about 60 pairs in lecture style, which refer to seating arrangement. In this method, there are three basic ways to measure basic ways of measurement, which is self-counting system, direct counting system and indirect counting system. The second method is used to measure the participation rates is the dispersed use sites. In this method, there are three methods to be used, which is first method is self-registration at entrance points. This method mostly we can see at the public toilet or sometimes in some recreation place such as air terjun Sungai Pandan. This method is most inexpensive methods, but it lacks of reliability. It lacks of reliability because of not of people will be honest to pay the entrance fees. Next is proper location registration. It was a good thing to be practiced or to be built because of all people have to pay the entrance fees without no excuse. Such an example, the developer built a payment counter. Lastly is a mandatory permit system. Mandatory permit system referring to the license that needed in order to run any activity. Such an example, to go for hiking at any mountain in Malaysia, some of them went there with no permit, but if anything happened, it will be dangerous for them. The ultimate solution are appointed the person who can get the permit. In conclusion, we can conclude that demand for outdoor recreation involves 5 things, which is principle of demand, method of problem of demand projection, demand for specific sites and facilities, present participation in outdoor recreation, and measurement of participation rates. Based on the discussion, we can see there are a lot of new knowledge to learn or to be learned based on the demand in outdoor recreation. Firstly, we can learn something such as to determine the demand, there have a few steps to be taken first. Moreover, demand includes in many aspects. It is not focusing on one aspect of demand only. As we can see, the growth of participation in outdoor recreation also increases. It is a good news for outdoor recreation founder because the legacy of outdoor recreation will be continued by new generation. By knowing there are some people appreciate your work and your effort is not wasted just like that. That was one of the blessing. In addition, in Malaysia, demand for outdoor recreation have been increases too, based on many of theme park offer an outdoor recreation activity as their main attraction. Such an example is Skate Park Penang and whitewater rafting at Gopeng, Perak.